Hey guys, John here. Welcome to my first NXT. And what's going to happen now is that Tim's going to cover WCPW and I will cover NXT. So, without further ado, let's get into this week. It was an action-packed week over at the Yellow Brand. The first match of the contest was Cruiserweight Championship competitor Sean Malura, that's as good as I'm going to get it, versus the returning Hideo Itami. This is Itami's first televised match in over a year due to a shoulder injury. Itami looked very good in the ring, showed little to no ring rust, some stiff kicks early on in the match. However, Malura did give him a little scare with a second rope code breaker, and it got in a good few minutes of offense, but Itami kicked out at 2. Then Itami no-sells a few kicks and punches and hits his dragon screw, big boot, stinger splash, I believe, and his trademark combo. He hits the hesitation drop kick in the corner and his flying knee for the pinfall. It was a great return for Itami and a good debut from Malura. He didn't really show any signs of weakness. I think just because Itami's return is the reason he lost, but I don't know. Anyways, the winner was Hideo Itami via a pinfall. Up next was an interview with the tag team champions, The Revival, Dash and Dawson. They said they are the greatest NXT tag team, not only in NXT, but in the world. And that's when TM61 interrupted and challenged the Revival to a match at TakeOver. The Revival refused and set them on their way. But then, the team of Gargano and Ciampa, that's as good as I'm going to get it, interrupted them for a chance to be and said that they are next in line for the title. It's interesting three-way the titles. I'd say it's going to be TM61, The Revival, and Gargano and Ciampa for the tag titles. However, TM61 would face The Revival later on that night. Up next is the second match of the night. SmackDown Live's Mojo Rawley going up against Chris Atkins. This match never really got underway. But Mojo Rawley looks good in the match for happened 30 seconds, because then Samoa Joe intervened and attacked Mojo Rawley and Atkins. Rawley was dominating the job before Joe came in and just completely cleared house. Samoa Joe then called out William Regal for not consulting him before setting his title match at TakeOver versus Shinsuke Nakamura. He says he'll destroy Shinsuke, but Mojo Rawley attacked him from behind and then was escorted out. So they seem to be making Mojo Rawley look pretty good. That wasn't until Mojo Rawley was attacked by Joe from behind, and Joe locked in the coquina clutch on Rawley on the steel stage. He eventually let go, and then he shouted at the hard camera that he's going to do that to not only Shinsuke Nakamura, but also to the NXT General Manager, William Regal. So that match ended in pretty much a no contest. Next was an interview with former NXT Women's Champion Bayley. She says she's not the same person since she lost the title at NXT TakeOver. I forget which one. It was the one, I think it was the end, actually. Yeah, it was the end. Since losing her title at NXT TakeOver the end to Asuka. Wait, no, it wasn't the end. That was Nia Jax who got the title shot then. The TakeOver before that. She says that she needs to adapt mentally, prepare for her matches, like the one against Asuka. Speaking of which, Asuka interrupted Bayley and invited her to watch her match later that night, and Bayley accepted, which is the next match of the card, by the way. Up next, NXT Women's Champion Asuka against Aliyah. Bayley was on commentary for this match beside Tom Phillips and Corey Graves. Asuka then grabbed a chair that the timekeeper or ring announce usually sits on, and positioned it right at the stage, and invited Asuka to go sit at the chair. She steps to go down to ringside, but instead throws the chair away and declines Asuka's invitation to sit in it. Asuka then hit the rear view and some vicious kicks early on. She then hit another rear view as she started to play mind games with Bayley. Asuka was pretty much toying with the young Toronto woman, and she eventually locked in the Asuka lock, which Aaliyah tapped out right away. Smart, but Asuka kept her in the hold until Bayley came to Aaliyah's aid. Stare-down between the two commences, so the winner of the match, and still actually undefeated in NXT via submission, the NXT Women's Champion Asuka, and she's looking very dominant and strong heading into her takeover match, which is against Bayley. The contract signing will be next week for that match, so that's going to be fun. Usually contract signings usually end with people killing each other. Up next was a video package hyping the debut of Ember Moon at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I did some research on her, and she is a former PWA Women's Champion, AIW Women's Champion, 3-time ACW American Joshi Champion, and was ranked number 23 in Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Top 50 Women of 2014. So overall, she's a good get for NXT, and yeah, good work on WWE to get her. They signed her back in 2015, I believe, and she did reportedly have a dark match at NXT TakeOver The End under her new Ember Moon persona. Up next was the long-awaited televised debut of the glorious Bobby Roode. He's a former TNA Tag Team Champion with Eric Young, with James Storm and NXT superstars Eric Young and Austin Aries. You may know him. He's the 2011 Bound for Glory Champion and is a 2-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He got a huge pop from the crowd. Side note, I'm not really feeling his theme. Like, since he's going to be a heel, it doesn't really fit a heel character. It fits more of a triumphant babyface. I'm not really feeling that theme. It's not as good as former TNA superstars Aries and Joe's theme. But he started off as the traditional babyface saying of, we're not the superstars on NXT, you're NXT, etc. But then he said NXT was the perfect place for him. But never mind. He says he's there to put NXT on the next level, and he calls that the corporate and political level. He then slates the crowd, and he says he prefers to wrestle in front of people who are Fortune 500, like former presidents, politicians, world leaders. And he criticized the crowd, saying they wear stupid oversized t-shirts, stupid hats. So he was going in on the crowd at Full State University. He then exits and before saying that he is at the helm of the future of NXT. It's definitely going to be interesting. He is a very good wrestler. I remember watching him over. I used to watch TNA a little bit back in 2010 to 2012. Only because of the likes of like Jeff Hardy, Sting, Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, people like them. But I do remember Bobby Roode being a very, very good wrestler. He was intertwined in the whole Aces and Eights angle where he opposed Bully Ray, aka Bubba Ray Dudley. So he is a good wrestler. He's a very, very good get for WWE. My only problem is he will be the top heel in the company. He will be definitely one of the top heels, but NXT is sort of starting to run out of babyface, good babyface people. Like at the moment, they have Shinsuke Nakamura and the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. But in terms of the heels, it's mind-boggling. They have Austin Aries, who's now a heel. They have Samoa Joe. They have the Revival, who are traditional heels, and they now have Bobby Roode. The ones on the other scale we can really look at is Nakamura, I guess No Way Jose, Cien, and TM61. But in terms of that, the star power is really on the heel side, besides Shinsuke. So they definitely need to get some some good faces in there. I suspect that maybe in the near future, Styles and Roode will feud over the title, but that's when like Shinsuke and Samoa Joe go up to the main roster. God, that'll be today. The main event is the Revival versus TM61. It was a good tag team out. TM61 definitely got some good tag team offense in there, but the Revival ended up decisive victors, in my opinion. They played well. They played off each other well. They're a good tag team. And afterwards, after the match, when they're celebrating, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, again, as good as I'm going to get them, came out and interrupted them. It's pretty clear that the Revival will be facing either them, TM61, or both of them for the tag titles at TakeOver Brooklyn 2. So that was NXT this week. Pretty good. Pretty good. They had, of course, the debut of Bobby Roode, which was incredible. They had a furthering of the NXT Championship feud. Samoa Joe citing frustrations over management of Nakatonian before announcing his match against Shinsuke. The feud between Asuka and Bayley intensifying a lot more. That's always good to see. They made Mojo Rawley look pretty good, successfully sneak attacking the NXT champion Samoa Joe. So they made him look good ahead of his impending SmackDown Live debut. Excited for the debut of Ember Moon. Hideo Itami, great to see him back. He's an incredible wrestler, and it's very good to see him back. Also good to see some Cruiserweight Championship competitors on NXT. So all in all, it was a good show, and I'm really excited now for TakeOver Brooklyn, since they have Nakamura versus Joe for the NXT Championship. I'd say Nakamura will win there. I don't know, maybe. And then, secondly, the Revival and their little tag team thing between TM61 and Gargano and Ciampa. I'd say next week or in 2 weeks they'll have a number one contendership match for those titles. So for the chance to face the Revival for the titles. Bayley Asuka is looking amazing. I'd say the other main feud and the main match heading into TakeOver would be Aries against No Way Jose, since they're sort of getting into a little bit of a feud at the moment as well. All in all, great show for NXT. Really excited for TakeOver. That's been it for my first NXT review. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Take care.